love writing stories, which is kind of ironic given that I hate reading. I think it might be due to my very active imagination, which is basically that one song from Willy Wonka, or maybe just Wonka. I don't know. I don't really know what that song's from. Anyway, moving on. I've written so many characters in these crazy, insane stories that I thought it'd be fun to share with you today. So I guess it's best if we just get started.
So I've created basically a Marvel Cinematic Universe amalgamation of characters, and they range from really wholesome to slightly crazy, but that's what adds their charm, I guess. And the first character that we're going to talk about is probably the most wholesome, and it's not the bunny, which is what you're probably guessing, but the bunny is not wholesome. Witchy was the main character in my story, Witch's New Uniform, which is about a girl who is, as her name suggests, a witch. My names were quite creative. And she's not like other girls, okay? All the other witches like to wear black and brew potions, witch-type stuff. But she is not like other girls because she likes to wear blue. It's also mentioned that she eats rotten vegetables, which is supposed to be obvious because witches obviously eat rotten vegetables. And it says that she picks these vegetables from out of her window, and I think I meant that she had a garden growing outside of her window, but since I was 5 when I wrote this book, I actually have no clue if that's what I meant or there were floating vegetables in her window, which is possible because this universe is not realistic. So Witchy goes to school, and it's her birthday, and she's going to school with her sister Riley, which when I told my friends this story, they brought up that it's kind of, I feel there's favoritism there because her parents named their one child Witchy, and they named their other child Riley. And so one of them is bound to get bullied. Can you tell that I'm trying to work this out in my head? Probably. So they head to school, and it's Witchy's birthday. So the other witches in the school, they're nice witches. They're not like the Wicked Witch of the West or whatever. They paint the whole school blue in Witchy's honor and wear blue dresses and blue high heels. And that's it. That's the whole story. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 for giving me the warm and fuzzies, but it's more like a 4 out of 10 in realism as to how people would act socially. And the fact that wearing blue would not be socially acceptable because blue is everybody's favorite color. Okay, the next character we will be talking about is Daniel from Daniel and Bear. Bear was my grandma's dog, and Daniel was supposed to be Daniel the tiger, but since I'll be explaining and redesigning these characters, I'm not just going to draw Daniel Tiger again, I'll make him look different. So in this story, this is this first story I ever wrote, by the way, there's a dog named Daniel, there's a tiger named Daniel and a dog named Bear. And Bear walks on 4 legs and acts like a dog, and Daniel, who's a tiger, walks on 2 legs and acts like a human. So we have the sort of Mickey Mouse, Pluto, and Goofy logic going on here, and they're adults. It's specified in the book. There's no such thing as show don't tell in my stories. I told everything. And they go on this big adventure all day because they don't have a job. They're unemployed, I guess. They're adults, but they're bad at adulting. They do a variety of things during their day, including fishing, going to Bounce U, and, going to the arcade. I thought that Bounce U was the most fun place ever when I was little. All the while, they're the bestest of friends the whole time. There's no arguing, no conflicts, because this story was really short because it was my first one, and there was not a lot going on. There's not much you can talk about with just 2 adults doing stuff that, if you think about, kids would do. Like, I've never heard of an adult going to, like, a trampoline park by themselves with their dog. But, it happens, okay? Some people think that's fun. You do you. The story ends up with them just, going to bed in their bunk beds. Because Bear might be a dog that walks on 4 legs and is walked on a leash during the whole book, but he gets his own bed. Alright, the last character that we're going to talk about today is truly the most insane, and that is Bunny from Bunny in the Boat. What did I say? My naming is very creative. Bunny in the Boat is my most iconic work of fiction, and it truly is literary art. It's about this girl who takes a boat onto an island that is full of bunnies, and we never see this girl again. She literally disappears for the rest of the story. And on this island, the bunnies wear fun pajamas and live in burrows. And we're going to follow our titular character, Bunny, and his mom. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting because in the morning, Bunny does not eat carrot soup or radishes for breakfast. He goes hunting and eats meat soup. Bunny is a carnivorous bunny. I clearly did not understand the food web when I was 5. Wait, I think I said meat soup. That's not what Bunny eats in the original book. In the original book, Bunny eats meat cereal. Let that sink in for a moment. After that little bit of a lore drop about this crazy island, we end off the book by Bunny and his mom taking a bath in the sunset. And that's, once again, the very abrupt end to my story. I mean, I feel like it's important to know these stories were no longer than 5 pages. The longest one was 10 pages. At the end of the story, I ever so graciously added an other books available page. These books were not real, but if you wanted to know, they included the work Bunny Walks Around, Bunny Takes a Carriage, Merry Christmas Bunny, and Bunny Picks Out a Christmas Tree. That's all the stories I had to share with you today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed them.